We appreciate you pressing that play button, and welcome to another episode of
Fankinghaters,
your weekly fantasy show where we dish out hate on those fantasy players that mess up your DraftKings or your FanDuel lineup. I'm Marcus the Greek. To my right is Melodic. To my left is Messiah the One. You can follow us during the games on DraftKings or FanDuel. Fellas, we can't do too much. I'm not going to start off the week hating on y'all for not getting in the weekly gas challenge. We did have a friendly one. We didn't make it in time frame that we wanted to do a whole day's tournament, but we will be having our weekly gas challenge this weekend. Who's your opponent this coming up week?
Q Bizzle will be Q Bizzle 3505 is to be exact. Is who my challenger is for this week. You guys will see our lineups once they post on Sunday. And hopefully I catch the dub. And I won the little friendly challenge, barely won, but it was a last minute deal, so I'm ready to see what happens when we give it a full week of planning and putting together the right lineup, so then we could go ahead and make it. Let's go ahead and bang a little bit this weekend.
All right, Melodic, who you hating from last week?
Last week, I actually ended up in the green. I only won 250, but because of that, it's Jordan Reed.
Okay.
1 point.
Jumpman, the NFL's Mr.
And
Glass.
actually, I do gotta say my 2 tight ends was a hate, so I guess I could hate on that.
Yeah, so it wasn't very. It was attitude. It wasn't very melodic.
No, not at all.
And I also had the Derrick Rose of the NFL. I had Jordan Reed also.
Jumpman
just so
Reed.
y'all want to know what 1.5 equals is 1 catch for 5 yards. That's what he was. That's what we're left with.
And
Useless.
And for me, my hate, unfortunately, I get to join you guys' circle. We already sit in the circle, but I get to join the circle. I'm a part of the Zero Club now.
So we officially need like some streamers or something.
We're
all 3 entered the club.
Yes, Willie Snead. I don't even know if you played last week because you didn't even get targeted. I mean, I think if I went out there, I might be able to get open a little bit, or maybe not. Maybe not. That's a stretch. Maybe not. But still, like, you're an NFL player and you didn't even get targeted last week. Got me 0. So that's my hate for this week.
And it's really interesting because I am a Saints fan, but it's just interesting to go from being one of the hot receivers to letting Mike Thomas take over to just getting faded out. And I understand he was suspended. I still don't know what he was suspended for.
See, and I think it's one of those things too. It's like when a coach get mad at you, he kind of stay mad at you. He done already had his punishment and served a 4-game, coach. Like, get him out of the doghouse and let's look for him. And he was y'all's deep threat. I understand y'all winning right now, and you're not worried about that. But me personally right now we're talking about you, the Saints. I think Sean Payton has a little control power kind of thing, because he was trying to get, you see what happened to AP, but that's a hate for another time. We ain't gonna hate on Sean too much. So who you rolling out this week, Melodic?
This week I'm bringing out
Jared Goff.
Is Goff real?
Goff, yes, he's going against the Giants, so I'm taking him. Everybody knows the Giants ain't been doing too good.
Yeah,
offense or defense. So
we'll see.
Another thing is too,
he's like a boom or bust to me though.
Yeah, but it's a boom or bust. But really, just trying to figure out what's going on in New York. It's the second time this season for another cornerback to get suspended. Janoris Jenkins is suspended, which is their best corner, which could help you out with that. So I think that makes a big difference. Camardi got suspended a few weeks ago.
There's a lot of problems.
There's some turmoil. There's something going on with the coach. I think he's losing the locker room. So I think that could be a good pickup for you. And when you next, you got for a run back.
I'm going with Carlos Hyde.
That might be it.
He's averaging 15.2 points a game.
Okay.
Yeah, he's going against the 27th ranked Arizona run defense.
Okay.
But if
I'm taking my chance.
Is he averaging that because did he have one breakout game of like 30 or 40 or something?
No, he's been consistent with between like 13, 15.
Until I pick him, he got me like 2 points.
I have him in my fantasy league.
Your personal fantasy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been going. Well, last week was his bad week, but he had 12, 24, I guess 2, 14, 24, 20, 13.
Okay.
Yeah, I picked him when he had 2. So
Yeah, that was a week.
So that's why he in the doghouse. All right, who your other running back?
I got, the muscle hamster,
Here we
Tampa
go.
Bay, Doug Martin.
Tampa Bay Ranch hand. You're
They're
gonna
at,
get,
you know what I mean? They're at
you're
New
gonna
Orleans.
get one of those two players, either a Tampa Bay Buck or a Dallas
Hey,
Ranch hand in your lineup.
I trust in these.
I think every year, check that for us. Hit us up in the DM if that's right.
Hey, you can offer them another T-shirt if they pull that right,
Yeah.
because they might be right. I got Nelson Aguilar as my first receiver.
Okay.
Last week, he didn't have a good game.
No, they
didn't get in the end zone. They ended up with.
And you would have think he would have had a good game with them putting up 33 points last week.
Right.
But fantasy-wise, I know that he was excited because they won. But fantasy-wise, he didn't really help us out.
But I'm sticking with what we said last week. He's now 5 out of 8 games he has a touchdown.
Okay.
So that's why I'm picking him.
Okay.
I got Anderson for the Jets.
That's a Messiah prophecy. If you watch, we've been talking about him
Right.
already. We
Ryan-
know what we're talking about.
Ryan
We just ain't up
Anderson.
here hating. Watch us.
And then I got Will Fuller. You have to go with him.
All he does is
He or
score. That's
Yeah,
it. All he does is score.
that's who get it.
Yeah, I think the last statistic I saw before the game, he had 13 catches and 7 for touchdowns.
Yeah. All he does is score.
And then I'm going with my tight end, whose quarterback is the king of tight ends.
If you
I'm
watched us
going
last
with-
week, you know who that is.
I'm going with Seraphim Jenkins.
I like Seraphim
Which
Jenkins.
is the tight end for the Jets,
Yes.
and McCown being the quarterback with the Jets, he will make a tight end look good. So it's always a good
King of
pick.
tight ends. And if you've been watching, that's another Messiah prophecy.
And then for my flex, I got LaShawn McCoy
I like that play too.
going against the Jets. I think it's going to be a good battle. They ranked 12th against the run, but McCoy's a good player. I think he's going to get his points.
Okay.
And then I'm going with the almighty Eagles defense.
Hey, they're going against my Broncos, and I don't know what's going on with them right now. Like,
I think we just found out he's Osweiler.
Yeah.
That's what's going on.
yeah. So
So I'm taking Philly all the way.
okay, I like that play.
That's
Unfortunately,
even worth a Vegas bet. That's how bad it is.
Hey, watch it, Ranch.
just
Man,
saying.
watch it. For me, this week rolling out at quarterback, I'm going with a friend of the show. I'm going with Captain Kirk, not Kurt. Kirk. Kinfolk, as we call him here. I'm going with
Kinfolk.
Cousins. Going with Cousins. We said it last week also, if you watch, I don't really believe in the Legion of Boom too much anymore. They like to pass. He's going to throw the rock, so I'm throwing Cousins out
I like
against that.
Kinfolk in November though. This is the time of the year that's made him the Kinfolk.
Yeah, that's true too. It is his time. Then I'm going with Mr. Fantasy right now, Kareem Hunt. I need those points, and he's going against the Ranch Hands. And you know how I feel about the Ranch Hands. I don't trust that defense. Then I went with young Bronco, Christian McCaffrey against Atlanta. Messiah, I'll tell you a little bit more about that. DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, they're playing the Colts. Weak secondary. Watson is for real, it seems like, and he targets him a lot. He targets him a lot, so I'm rolling him out. And then I went cheap at my last 2 wide receivers, but they're key components in their team's offense, and that's Cooper Kupp. I think Cooper Kupp has a good game in that game, like you said, going against the Giants. And then we usually say when you pick a Titan, you either pick,
Delaney Walker.
Or Mariota.
but this week I'm going off the ranch, as some of you Texans might say, and I'm going with just Rashard Matthews as my other wide receiver. I think he gets one that game, and that's just a gut pick with that. And I had a little less money than I wanted because I went big earlier. And then I went with another Messiah prophecy. I went with Ed Dixon at tight end. I think that Atlanta-Carolina game is going to be a high-scoring game. It's not going to be a defensive battle, even though both defenses are playing good right now. I think it's just going to be one of those freak games, and that's going to be a shootout. Like I said earlier, I don't trust Richard Sherman against a fast receiver anymore. Said it last week when who got off on him last week that I said. If you're a fan of the show, you know. So this week I'm going with my favorite whiskey, Jamison Crowder, going in with that same matchup. I don't trust Richard anymore. So and then I went with the Big Purple at my defense. I know you appreciate that. They're playing Tennessee, even though I got Matthews in my lineup. The 29ers. I don't trust them. They're up and down, and I'm gonna get on that train this week or that Ferris wheel. Who you rolling out, Messiah?
Well, speaking of rolling on Ferris wheels, I'm rolling on the Deshaun Watson Ferris wheel. Why not? I haven't picked him all year. He beat me when it came to my gas challenge and threw for 5 touchdowns. And he has not looked back since he's got that
Hey,
job.
if you can't beat him, join him.
And,
Right.
you know, just like his college coach said, man, he's the Michael Jordan of football. And right now, he's looking like it.
You're setting the NFL on fire.
At my running back position, I went with Aaron Jones, Green Bay, with Hurley playing quarterback. I think they got to rely and lean onto the running game.
And going back to the old school running game, not with the Ty Montgomery.
Yeah, Ty Montgomery.
They're going with the old school running
he's
game.
fading away.
I like that play.
So I went with Aaron Jones. And, I also went with Christian McCaffrey.
Young Bronco, baby Bronco.
I think with him, with having Kelvin Benjamin out of the lineup now, when Olsen went down, he stepped up big, and they ran a lot of plays to him.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be the same thing with Kelvin Benjamin leaving.
And plus, they're playing Atlanta, who's horrible against pass catching running backs. That's just an easy play.
Right.
You know, it seems like they're gonna ride with Funches as their main target. But to me, I think Ed Dixon and McCaffrey are going to be able to fill the voids that those little voids that he's not able to do, because Funches is not a real great route runner.
He's not,
but he's a big target.
I think he'll start to get the double team now.
Who's that?
Funches.
It's hard to say who they'll double team. They don't really. There's nobody until we see what happens this week. I think I get a better idea. There's no film on it right now for them to adjust to it. Ever my receiver, I went with Marvin Jones Jr. for Detroit.
I like that.
Going against Green Bay.
Jones, I like that.
You just got to be careful of the. Who was it? We were talking about the other Jones, T.J. Jones.
Well, there's a T.J. Jones and there's a Golden Tate.
That boy had a good game too.
Yeah, but Marvin Jones gets his, and he's the number 2. He's getting his targets. I'm going with Paul Richardson.
That's another Messiah prophecy. You've been on Paul Richardson this year.
You know, Seattle has Doug Martin, but yeah, if you notice, Paul Richardson has slipped in there, and he's being consistent, and he's scoring double digits, averaging 13 DraftKings points a game.
Okay.
I'm going with Demaryius Thomas with Brock Osweiler starting this week. I think that
You rekindle the old flame.
Well, he's been around long enough now to know that he has to rely on somebody. He can't do it himself.
Yeah, true.
After you get shipped around and come back to where you're happy at, he's gonna do the right things. And I think getting the ball into your playmakers' hands is what got them to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He learned that. We should have learned that with Peyton Manning. Stop holding the ball, get the ball in their hands.
Okay.
At tight end is my wild card. The grandson of Jack Nicklaus, the famous golfer. I went with Nick O'Leary, Ohio State alum. He's a tight end for Buffalo with Charles Clay being hurt.
So you don't think Kelvin Benjamin comes in there and steals some of those points?
You know, if he comes in and he contributes that quick and learns the offense that quick, then I think, he deserves to have it. But at 3,100 for Nick O'Leary, I'm going to take my chance.
And spend high other places. I get that. That's a good tournament play.
If he doesn't do me well, I'm hoping Deshaun Watson throws for 5 touchdowns, especially going against Indianapolis Colts.
Right.
At my flex position, I went with Will Fuller so I could have a double dip. Seems like
all he does is score.
All he does is score. Last stat I saw, 13 catches, 7 touchdowns, and that was before last game. So, and then I went with Detroit's defense going against Green Bay. I'm not sold on Hudley. I know he's going to end up throwing an interception or 2, possibly getting a few sacks. He should scramble more, but he doesn't.
Let's not hate on him too much. We got some of his family who watch us, so
hey,
ain't gonna hate too hard.
I'm not hating on him. I'm just speaking facts, and I'm just talking football. But I think the kid has a lot of potential, but I just feel Detroit's defense is a little messy. They're still averaging 11 points, DraftKings points per game.
Okay.
So that's my lineup for this week.
As always, thank you for pressing play. You can follow us on Twitter at Fankinghaters. What's that IG?
Make sure it's on Instagram at Fankinghaters.
How could they go on?
Houston strong.
Don't be scared for that gas challenge.
Only a few more innings to find out who the world champs are gonna be. Been saying it, been wearing the hat since the first episode. Houston strong.